everyone. Today, we delve into a profound aspect of human relationships, especially when dealing with someone who has an avoidant attachment style. Mel Robbins, a renowned motivational speaker, offers invaluable insights into this dynamic, and avoidant doesn't run because they don't care. They run because care terrifies them. They learned early that needing someone meant risking pain, so now distance feels safer than intimacy. To be close is to be exposed, and exposure is where their deepest fears live. They build walls not to keep others out, but to keep themselves from falling apart. Every inch you move toward them feels like a mile they need to retreat. They crave connection, but fear it will consume them or erase who they are. They are not cold. They are guarding warmth that once burned them. Their silence screams with emotion, but they've been taught to mute it. Love is not foreign to them. It's just unfamiliar when it's safe. They've been let down when they opened up, so now they open slowly, if at all. Avoidants often come across as indifferent, but underneath is a storm of self-doubt. They don't hate closeness. They fear losing control in it. Trust isn't given because trust once shattered them. They were raised in environments where emotions were unsafe, so they buried theirs to survive. They were told indirectly or directly that needing someone makes them weak. Their independence is a shield, not a weapon. They withdraw not to punish, but to preserve themselves. When things get too good, they brace for the end. They always expect the drop. They often test love by pulling away to see if it's safe to return. If they feel pursued, they'll run not because they don't want you, but because they don't want to lose themselves. They measure every moment of connection against the fear of abandonment. Even when they want to reach out, their hand trembles with hesitation. They analyze every text, every word for signs of rejection. Emotionally, they're always preparing for a goodbye, even during a hello. They have mastered the art of looking unbothered while drowning in longing. They've confused solitude with safety and silence with control. They believe if they don't depend on anyone, they can't be hurt by anyone. But inside, there's a part of them screaming to be held. Love, to them, is a battlefield where every step forward feels like surrender. They may ghost not to punish you, but to protect their own fragile sense of self. Their retreat is a defense, not an attack. They feel too much, not too little, and that's the part no one sees. They don't want you to fix them. They want you to understand why they built the armor. They wish they could stay, but every nerve in their body tells them they're about to drown. They often love the hardest in secret and show the least on the surface. They fear that once you see the real them, you'll leave like the rest. They overthink everything because unpredictability once hurt them deeply. They push away the people they love the most because closeness feels like chaos. They assume they are unlovable and then try to prove it to you. They're not emotionless. They're emotionally overwhelmed and don't know where to put it. They were once a child whose emotional needs went unmet. So now they meet no one's. They fear being known because being known feels like being judged. They often feel invisible, yet they fear being seen. They sabotage connection to avoid pain, even if it causes pain. They've mistaken numbness for peace and stillness for safety. Their detachment isn't a sign of strength. It's a scar they never talk about. They'll stare at the phone for hours wanting to reach out, unable to press send. They want to love without being consumed, to connect without disappearing. They feel more in a single glance than others do in 1,000 words. They are not unreachable. They just need to know you won't run when they don't chase. That's They need space, not because they don't care, but because they feel everything too deeply. They carry memories like weights, especially those moments they couldn't stop from slipping away. They don't lack emotion. They lack permission to express it. They want to be held without being caged, seen without being scrutinized. They learn to parent themselves, and now they struggle to let someone care for them. Their heart is behind thick glass, not locked away, just protected by pain. They often feel like guests in their own relationships, always half in, half ready to leave. They walk through life armored, yet exhausted from carrying the armor. They fear reliance because it reminds them of all the times no one showed up. Their silence is full of stories they never learned how to tell. They live in a paradox, wanting love to save them, fearing love will destroy them. They want the kind of love that waits, not pressures, not chases, just understands. They believe love is a luxury they can't afford to need. They retreat not because you failed, but because they don't trust happiness to last. They have trained themselves to need no one, but they're dying to be needed. They often replay moments in their head, wondering if they could have been more open, more warm, more there. They carry guilt for pushing people away, even when they believe it was necessary. They fear being a burden, so they pretend they're fine. They are warriors of solitude, but they ache for someone to fight beside them. They often love deeply, but act like it never mattered. They appear calm, but inside is a hurricane of what-ifs and regrets. They retreat into silence, hoping you'll break it, but terrified that you will. They measure affection by the risk it brings and often decide it's not worth the pain. They tell themselves stories where isolation is wisdom and closeness is danger. They've mistaken emotional safety for emotional distance. They'd rather lose you on their terms than be left without warning. They punish themselves before anyone else can. They crave consistency, but expect betrayal. They are most afraid of being seen as weak for simply needing love. They want to be chosen without having to ask. They shut down not because they've stopped feeling, but because they're overwhelmed by feeling too much at once. They're not trying to hurt you. They're trying to survive you. They often feel broken for not being able to just be normal in love. They believe they are hard to love and unconsciously make it harder to love them. They'll come back if they feel safe, but they'll leave again if that safety feels like a trap. They believe detachment protects their soul, but in truth, it's starving them of connection. They are not the villain in their story. They're the wounded child who is never rescued. They may not ask for help, but they hope every day someone will offer it anyway. They long to exhale in the arms of someone who understands why they hold their breath. They are the ones who seem fine until you look close, and then you see the cracks. They are often misunderstood, but rarely explained. They don't need to be fixed. They need to be believed. Understanding them isn't easy, but once you do, you'll never love the same again. The power of self-awareness is the greatest force in unlocking human potential. It is the gateway to understanding your true motives, your silent fears, your untapped strengths. Without self-awareness, even the most talented remain blind to their own sabotage. To see yourself clearly is to take back your power from unconscious patterns. Only those who dare to look within can ever fully command what lies outside. Self-awareness is not about judging yourself. It is about owning every part of who you are. It demands brutal honesty, but offers unmatched clarity. Every moment of awareness brings you one step closer to freedom. The mind that can observe itself is no longer its own prisoner. You cannot change what you will not face. Self-awareness is that courageous first step. It strips away illusion and reveals the raw truth beneath your habits. When you become self-aware, you stop reacting. You begin responding with intention. The unconscious life is a cycle of repetition. The self-aware life is a path of evolution. True strength is not loud. It is found in the quiet courage to know oneself. You cannot master the world until you have mastered your own mind. Awareness allows you to catch the moment before the mistake, the lie, the relapse. It gives you the power to pause, to choose, to redirect. In a noisy world, self-awareness is the rarest and most valuable form of intelligence. It sharpens your intuition and gives precision to your actions. Self-awareness dismantles ego and replaces it with grounded confidence. It turns your triggers into teachers and your pain into wisdom. A self-aware person is never a victim because they take full responsibility for their reality. They do not blame, they analyze, learn, and shift. When you become self-aware, you stop living on autopilot. You begin to see your choices, not just your circumstances. You realize that your thoughts are not facts. They are signals to be understood. Self-awareness exposes every lie you've told yourself for comfort. It breaks the cycle of emotional reactivity and builds emotional intelligence. It empowers you to speak truth, not from anger, but from alignment. In knowing your fears, you lessen their grip. In facing your envy, you reclaim your power. The person who sees clearly within can never be manipulated without. Your self-awareness determines your self-respect. Your ability to grow is directly tied to your willingness to confront your reflection. The mirror doesn't lie, but it takes courage to truly look. Self-awareness lets you audit your life without shame, only curiosity. It teaches you to observe rather than absorb. To recognize your patterns is to interrupt what no longer serves you. Self-awareness is not perfection. It's presence. It makes you impossible to deceive, even by your own thoughts. You become a student of yourself and a master of your life. Without it, your emotions own you. With it, your emotions inform you. Self-awareness turns chaos into clarity and confusion into comprehension. It teaches you that failure is feedback, not a final sentence. You stop chasing validation when you understand your own value. You no longer fear silence because you have met the voice within. You stop performing and start living. Self-awareness turns conflict into conversation and reaction into response. It helps you understand your needs before you demand them from others. You stop seeking love in places that reflect your wounds. You begin to recognize the difference between what feels familiar and what is truly aligned. You learn to sit with discomfort rather than escape it. You begin to trust your instincts because they're no longer drowned out by noise. You build boundaries not from bitterness, but from clarity. Your time becomes sacred because you understand what drains you. You stop pleasing everyone when you realize who you truly are. Self-awareness ends the war within and opens the path to peace. It's not about fixing yourself. It's about finding yourself. You begin to see that your past was not a prison, but a classroom. Your future becomes flexible when you understand your present. You stop fearing who you are and start shaping who you are becoming. Self-awareness allows you to give without losing yourself. It makes you harder to manipulate and easier to trust. You begin to lead from authenticity, not from approval. You recognize your influence, your patterns, your presence. You learn how to listen, not just to others, but to your own inner knowing. You no longer confuse motion with progress or busyness with purpose. Self-awareness gives you the discipline to delay gratification in service of a bigger vision. You stop living by default and start living by design. You recognize that every emotion is a messenger with a message. You stop numbing and start navigating. You build resilience because you know how to return to center. Your self-worth no longer depends on comparison. You understand your triggers and begin to heal the source. You stop shrinking to fit and start expanding to be. Self-awareness is the root of transformation and the engine of growth. It gives you the vocabulary to name your needs and the strength to meet them. It removes the mask and reveals your essence. You begin to move in alignment, not in reaction. You listen not just to respond, but to understand. You become both student and teacher of your own soul. Self-awareness helps you notice when you're chasing goals that don't belong to you. You begin to define success on your own terms. You stop running from your past and start writing your future. You stop explaining your worth and start embodying it. You become unshakable, not because life is easy, but because you are anchored within. You no longer look for someone to complete you. You become whole within yourself. You stop breaking your own heart just to keep others comfortable. You recognize the difference between peace and silence. You make decisions that honor your truth, even when they cost you comfort. You stop waiting to be chosen and start choosing yourself. You realize that healing is not linear, but awareness is what keeps you moving forward. Self-awareness is the silent revolution that changes everything. Compassion and patience are forces that transform lives silently yet profoundly, shaping human interactions with unmatched depth. When compassion flows freely, it becomes a bridge that connects souls beyond words, opening hearts to understand suffering without judgment. Patience, in its essence, is the silent strength that endures storms, refusing to rush the natural rhythm of growth and healing. In moments of despair, compassion acts as a gentle hand that lifts spirits, reminding people they are not alone in their struggles. Patience cultivates resilience, teaching that true progress unfolds not in haste, but in the steady unfolding of time. Compassion does not demand immediate change. It embraces imperfection, offering grace to those who stumble. Patience is the quiet companion to compassion, providing the space needed for transformation to take root deeply within. Every act of kindness rooted in compassion has the power to dismantle walls built by fear and misunderstanding. Patience fuels the willingness to listen when the world demands quick answers, allowing voices to be heard fully. Compassion's presence in a conversation can dissolve tension, replacing hostility with empathy that soothes wounded hearts. The patient mind recognizes that every person's journey is unique, honoring the pace at which they walk their path. Compassion ignites hope where darkness threatens to consume, lighting candles of encouragement that refuse to be extinguished. Patience safeguards these flickers of hope, nurturing them until they grow into blazing fires of change. When compassion leads, relationships deepen beyond superficial connections, blossoming into authentic bonds of trust. Patience sustains these bonds, weathering misunderstandings and setbacks without breaking. Compassion is the antidote to cruelty, the balm that heals emotional wounds inflicted by indifference or neglect. Patience is the strength that holds on through moments of frustration, knowing that growth is often invisible before it becomes apparent. The language of compassion is universal. It speaks louder than words, touching the core of humanity in every culture. Patience is the steady heartbeat beneath this language, offering rhythm and calm to chaotic situations. Compassion in leadership inspires loyalty and dedication, as it shows care for individuals rather than just outcomes. Patience in leadership models humility and foresight, understanding that sustainable success requires time and nurture. When compassion becomes a daily practice, it rewires the brain to seek connection over division, kindness over judgment. Patience rewires the soul to resist impulsivity, embracing a mindful approach to challenges and setbacks. Compassion in teaching awakens curiosity and confidence, encouraging learners to embrace mistakes as part of growth. Patience in teaching allows space for each mind to bloom in its own time, honoring different learning styles and speeds. Compassion in healthcare offers comfort beyond medicine, treating patients as whole beings with emotional needs. Patience in healthcare ensures careful listening and attentive care, often making the difference between recovery and despair. Compassion fuels activism with love rather than anger, motivating change that uplifts rather than divides. Patience in activism grounds passion in strategy, understanding that lasting justice is built over time, not overnight. Compassion does not seek recognition. Its rewards lie in the quiet transformation of another's pain into peace. Patience trusts this unseen work, confident that every seed sown will eventually bear fruit. Compassion bridges gaps between strangers, creating communities bound by shared humanity rather than superficial differences. Patience holds communities together, knitting diverse voices into a cohesive, resilient fabric. Compassion in parenting nurtures children's emotional intelligence, teaching them to care for themselves and others. Patience in parenting walks alongside children through tantrums and trials, embodying unconditional love. Compassion softens the hardest hearts, melting away bitterness and opening windows to forgiveness. Patience teaches that forgiveness is a journey, not a single act unfolding gently with time. Compassion lifts burdens by sharing them, reminding people that vulnerability is a sign of strength, not weakness. Patience allows the space for healing, recognizing that scars fade gradually, not instantly. Compassion fuels art and creativity, expressing truths that words alone cannot capture. Patience refines artistic vision, encouraging persistence through doubt and failure. Compassion in friendship creates safe spaces where authenticity is celebrated and judgment is absent. Patience in friendship forgives flaws and withstands distance, proving that true bonds transcend time and change. Compassion dismantles prejudice by seeing the humanity behind stereotypes and fears. Patience unravels biases patiently, inviting understanding through gentle dialogue. Compassion moves mountains when it inspires collective action toward common good. Patience builds the foundation for sustained effort, knowing that systemic change is a marathon, not a sprint. Compassion's quiet power challenges cycles of violence, replacing retaliation with understanding. Patience breaks chains of hatred by refusing to respond with immediate anger or resentment. Compassion in self-care fosters a nurturing relationship with one's own mind and body, countering harsh self-criticism. Patience in self-care embraces gradual progress, celebrating small victories on the road to wellness. Compassion turns strangers into allies, reminding us that kindness is the first step toward unity. Patience teaches that alliances grow strong only when nurtured over time with respect and trust. Compassion teaches us to bear witness to others' pain without trying to fix or diminish it. Patience holds space for silence, knowing that sometimes presence alone is the greatest gift. Compassion stirs courage in those who feel powerless, showing them their inherent worth and strength. Patience supports this courage, standing firm even when results seem distant or invisible. Compassion fuels forgiveness toward oneself and others, healing wounds that divide and isolate. Patience allows the slow process of reconciliation, weaving fractured relationships back together with care. Compassion embraces the messy, complicated nature of humanity, refusing to turn away from discomfort. Patience endures through uncertainty, trusting that clarity and peace will eventually emerge. Compassion softens societal divides by recognizing shared struggles beneath surface differences. Patience listens through conflicts, holding faith in the possibility of mutual understanding. Compassion offers a sanctuary where pain can be expressed safely without fear of dismissal. Patience honors the journey toward healing, never rushing nor abandoning those in pain. Compassion inspires acts of kindness that ripple outward, creating waves of positive change. Patience sustains these ripples, turning them into enduring currents that reshape communities. Compassion embodies humility, acknowledging that none of us have all the answers or perfect solutions. Patience embodies wisdom, knowing when to act and when to wait for the right moment. Compassion lights the way through darkness, offering hope where despair threatens to consume. Patience keeps that light burning steadily, guiding us through the longest nights. Compassion holds the power to transform conflict into connection, replacing hostility with understanding. Patience teaches that transformation takes time, often unfolding through small, consistent effort. Compassion calls us to recognize our shared humanity, dissolving walls built by fear and separation. Patience reminds us that healing is a process, one that requires dedication and unwavering faith. Compassion nurtures growth in ourselves and others, encouraging vulnerability as a path to strength. Patience sustains this growth, gently urging us to keep moving forward despite obstacles. Compassion sees the divine spark in every soul, affirming dignity beyond circumstance or flaw. Patience respects the sacred timing of each person's unfolding journey. Compassion whispers peace into restless hearts, soothing anxiety with gentle understanding. Patience steadies the hand that reaches out, even when hope seems faint or distant. Compassion reaches beyond differences to touch the essence of what unites us all. Patience weaves the fabric of lasting relationships, built on trust, empathy, and shared experience. Compassion invites us to slow down, to be fully present with pain and joy alike. Patience teaches that presence itself can be the most powerful act of love. Compassion embodies the courage to face suffering head-on, not turning away or numbing the pain. Patience holds the space for tears, for silence, for the slow dance of healing and hope. Compassion reminds us that every act of kindness matters, creating echoes that never fade. Patience believes in those echoes, trusting they will build a better, more loving world. Consistent communication forms the backbone of every successful relationship, whether personal or professional, creating an unshakable foundation of trust and clarity that fuels progress and connection. When communication remains steady and predictable, it prevents misunderstandings from festering, allowing everyone involved to navigate challenges with confidence rather than doubt. The power of regularly sharing thoughts, updates, and feedback cannot be overstated, as it builds a rhythm that aligns expectations and actions seamlessly. Without this steady exchange, gaps form that breed assumptions and confusion, weakening the very essence of collaboration and partnership. Every interaction serves as a thread weaving people closer, transforming disparate voices into a unified chorus that drives collective success. Consistency in communication becomes a beacon that guides teams through uncertainty, providing reassurance that no one is left in the dark or drifting without direction. It empowers individuals to take ownership, knowing their perspectives will be heard and valued on an ongoing basis. The deliberate act of keeping communication constant dismantles walls of isolation, replacing them with bridges of understanding and empathy. It is through unwavering dialogue that organizations cultivate cultures of openness where innovation flourishes, fueled by a free flow of ideas and constructive criticism. When messages are delivered with regularity, they reinforce shared goals and values, embedding them deeply into the group's identity. This repetition does not breed monotony, but rather reinforces commitment and sharpens focus on what truly matters. The absence of consistent communication leaves spaces where fear and doubt can thrive, undermining morale and weakening resolve. Yet, with persistence in reaching out and connecting, a resilient spirit emerges that faces challenges head-on without faltering. Communication is not merely about transmitting information, but about creating a continuous pulse that nurtures relationships and sustains momentum. Each moment of engagement sends a powerful signal. You are important, your voice counts, and together, we move forward. Without this steady flow, Misunderstandings fester in silence, eroding trust like a slow-moving storm that no one sees coming until it's too late. A culture steeped in consistent communication becomes immune to the chaos of uncertainty, turning volatility into clarity and confusion into action. The commitment to keep lines open speaks volumes about respect and regard for others, establishing a sense of psychological safety essential for meaningful collaboration. This kind of communication fuels motivation by reducing anxiety, making individuals feel connected rather than isolated in their efforts. Steady communication also sharpens decision-making, as it ensures all relevant perspectives and data are surfaced continuously, preventing costly oversights. It creates a feedback loop where learning is rapid and adaptive, driving constant improvement rather than stagnation. Inconsistent communication, by contrast, breeds frustration and disengagement as people struggle to align without a shared and current understanding. Every message sent consistently reinforces clarity, prevents the spread of rumors, and keeps everyone marching in the same direction. It is a strategic weapon against the entropy that naturally creeps into any collective effort over time. Reliable communication builds credibility, turning promises into actions and words into results that inspire confidence at every level. Leaders who champion consistent communication set the tone for openness and integrity, modeling behaviors that ripple throughout their teams and organizations. This practice strengthens bonds, making collaboration smoother and conflict less frequent because assumptions are minimized. Transparency becomes second nature, fostering an environment where challenges are addressed proactively instead of hidden away until they explode. The cadence of ongoing communication maintains energy and enthusiasm, preventing the fatigue that arises when people feel disconnected or undervalued. Regular updates remind everyone why their contribution matters and how their role fits into the bigger picture. In moments of crisis or change, this steady communication becomes the lifeline that holds teams together, allowing them to adapt swiftly and effectively. It dispels fear born of uncertainty. When communication is consistent, reputation strengthens, trust deepens, and collaboration transcends obstacles with greater ease. It transforms isolated efforts into collective achievements and individual talents into synergistic power. The discipline to communicate consistently demonstrates professionalism and commitment, signaling to others that their time and input are respected and valued. This respect creates a fertile ground where creativity and productivity can thrive simultaneously. Moreover, the habit of consistent communication builds emotional intelligence as it requires active listening and genuine engagement rather than one-sided information dumping. It opens channels for honest dialogue, helping to resolve conflicts early and strengthen interpersonal connections. Without this ongoing interaction, resentment and misunderstandings can accumulate silently, eroding relationships and derailing progress. Consistency in communication acts like a compass that keeps everyone aligned despite shifting circumstances or competing priorities. It cultivates resilience, ensuring that when setbacks occur, the group recovers faster and emerges stronger due to the clear understanding of shared objectives. Each touchpoint in consistent communication renews commitment and reignites passion for the common cause, turning vision into tangible outcomes. It removes ambiguity, the enemy of action, replacing it with certainty and shared purpose. This clarity enables swift execution and fuels momentum that propels teams beyond expectations. The importance of this cannot be overstated. Consistent communication is the lifeblood of any thriving collective endeavor, a catalyst for trust, efficiency, and innovation. Without it, even the most talented groups falter, caught in cycles of confusion and missed opportunities. Embracing this principle sets the stage for sustained success, empowering individuals and organizations alike to reach new heights through connection and clarity. The strength of a network is measured by how well it communicates. Consistent communication transforms networks into unstoppable forces. In the end, the commitment to communicate consistently is a commitment to honor relationships, foster understanding, and build legacies that endure beyond any single interaction. Recognizing the sign of return is a profound awakening that shakes the foundation of your existence, pulling your attention from the distractions of the mundane to the deeper rhythm of destiny. It is the unmistakable stir in your spirit, a subtle but undeniable call that something momentous is drawing near, a force that cannot be ignored or silenced. The sign of return demands your full awareness, inviting you to shed the layers of complacency and step into a space of readiness where transformation becomes inevitable. It whispers through the cracks of your heart, urging you to listen beyond the noise, to hear the message etched into the fabric of time itself. This recognition is not passive. It is a powerful surge that compels you to align with the flow of purpose and confront the truths you may have long avoided. The return is more than a physical arrival. It is a spiritual reckoning that challenges you to rise above fear and doubt, embracing the light that promises renewal and clarity. Every moment that passes without acknowledgement dulls the sharpness of this revelation, making it imperative to stay vigilant and attuned to the signs that break through your everyday reality. The sign of return manifests in countless forms, sometimes as an intense inner knowing, other times as external events that ripple through your life with unmistakable clarity. It is the subtle tremor beneath your breath, the flicker of a vision that awakens your soul to the possibility of rebirth and restoration. To recognize this sign is to recognize the sacred dance between time and destiny, where the past converges with the future in a sacred moment of return. It is the sacred alignment of your inner compass, the unmistakable beacon that guides you through the shadows toward the light you were always meant to find. The sign does not shout. It calls softly, yet persistently, demanding a response that only the brave can give, a response rooted in faith, courage, and an unshakable belief in the power of renewal. Ignoring this sign means turning away from the very essence of your journey, risking the loss of what was meant to be reclaimed and restored. To embrace it is to step into a divine covenant with life itself, where every step forward is imbued with purpose and every breath is a declaration of return. The sign challenges you to dismantle the walls built by past disappointments and to open yourself fully to the new horizons waiting just beyond the veil of doubt. It is the sacred invitation to reclaim your true self, to awaken from the slumber of forgetfulness, and arise as the author of your own destiny. The power of recognizing the sign of return lies in its ability to shift your perception, transforming fear into hope and uncertainty into unwavering certainty. It calls you to remember that no journey is ever truly over, that cycles complete only to begin anew in greater strength and deeper wisdom. This sign is a mirror reflecting back the truth you hold within. The truth of resilience, of endless capacity to rise again, no matter how far you may have fallen. It breaks through the illusions that keep you tethered to the past, offering a path illuminated by the promise of restoration and profound peace. The moment you recognize this sign, you become a witness to the unfolding miracle of your own rebirth, a participant in a cosmic rhythm that transcends human understanding. It stirs the dormant seeds within, awakening them to bloom with new life, vibrant purpose, and the relentless power of hope. This sign is not given lightly. It is a sacred trust, a charge to carry forward the legacy of transformation with honor and unwavering commitment. The recognition of return demands that you look within, confront your deepest fears, and choose to believe in the unseen forces that work tirelessly to bring you back to your destined path. It is the quiet assurance that, despite chaos and confusion, there is an unbreakable thread weaving through your story, a thread that leads home. This sign often appears when you least expect it, breaking through moments of despair with a sudden clarity that leaves you breathless and forever changed. It moves beyond logic and reason, speaking directly to the heart with a language of symbols, feelings, and profound intuition. To grasp it fully is to step into a sacred space where time bends and past, present, and future coalesce in perfect harmony. The sign of return is a herald of awakening, signaling the end of wandering and the beginning of purposeful arrival. It challenges you to release old identities and narratives that no longer serve your growth, making room for the new you who is ready to embrace destiny's call. Every sign is a call to action, a summons to prepare, to cleanse, and to focus all your energy on what lies ahead with clarity and strength. It carries the weight of ancient wisdom and the power of universal truth, reminding you that your journey is part of something far greater than yourself. Recognizing this sign is an act of courage, requiring you to trust the unseen and surrender control to the divine orchestration of your life. It breaks through the chains of skepticism and disbelief, lighting a fire of faith that burns away doubt and ignites passion. The sign reveals the hidden patterns woven into your life's tapestry, guiding you to reconnect with your purpose and the deeper meaning embedded in your experiences. It urges you to embrace vulnerability and authenticity, knowing that the true power of return lies in your willingness to show up fully and without reservation. This recognition brings a profound sense of peace amidst turmoil, an unshakable conviction that you are exactly where you need to be in your journey. It invites you to open your eyes wider, to see beyond the surface and to perceive the divine choreography at work in every twist and turn. When you recognize the sign of return, you align yourself with a cosmic rhythm that fuels your transformation and propels you toward your highest destiny. It is a sacred turning point, a moment charged with the potential to rewrite your story and reclaim the power you thought was lost. The sign awakens your deepest instincts, sharpening your awareness and compelling you to act with intention and clarity. It transforms waiting into preparation and hesitation into bold steps forward. In the face of uncertainty, this sign offers a steady beacon, a light that refuses to be extinguished, calling you back to the core of who you truly are. It carries the promise that every ending births a new beginning, every loss holds a seed of gain, and every return is an opportunity to rise stronger, wiser, and more alive than before. The sign of return is not a mere coincidence, but a divine message encoded in the midst of your life, a message that demands recognition to unlock its full power. It invites you to move beyond fear and hesitation, to trust the journey even when the path is unclear and the destination unknown. To ignore this sign is to deny the call of your own soul, to miss the sacred dance of renewal that awaits those willing to answer. It is a call to embrace the fullness of your journey, to stand tall in the face of challenge, and to step boldly into the future with unwavering faith. The sign of return is the herald of new beginnings, wrapped in the wisdom of experience, a testament to the enduring power of hope and the resilience of the human spirit. It awakens in you the strength to face what lies ahead, armed with the knowledge that you are never truly lost, but always on the cusp of return. Embracing growth means accepting that discomfort is not the enemy, but the very catalyst that ignites transformation. It calls us to embrace uncertainty with open arms, knowing that the greatest breakthroughs often emerge from the depths of confusion and doubt. Growth shatters the complacency that dulls the soul, awakening a fierce hunger to expand beyond yesterday's limitations. It demands radical honesty, forcing us to confront the narratives we tell ourselves that no longer serve our highest good. The journey of growth invites us to rewrite our story, casting ourselves as the hero who rises despite adversity and refuses to be defined by past pain. It requires unwavering faith in the process, trusting that the seeds of effort we plant now will one day bear fruit in ways unimaginable. Growth is a sacred dance between holding on and letting go, holding on to our values, dreams, and hope, while letting go of toxic attachments, limiting beliefs, and fears. It challenges us to redefine failure, not as a dead end, but as a stepping stone toward mastery and wisdom. Each step forward, no matter how small, is a victory over stagnation and a testament to the human spirit's indomitable will. Growth teaches us that progress is rarely linear. It is a winding road filled with detours that shape our character and deepen our understanding. To grow is to become comfortable with being uncomfortable, knowing that this discomfort is the birthplace of strength and clarity. It demands that we embrace solitude as a sacred space for reflection and renewal, allowing the inner voice to guide us toward authenticity. Growth is fueled by a mindset that sees challenges as invitations rather than threats, transforming obstacles into opportunities for innovation and courage. It empowers us to shed outdated versions of ourselves with grace, honoring the past while eagerly stepping into the future. The journey compels us to cultivate resilience, not by avoiding pain, but by developing the capacity to bounce back stronger after every fall. It requires relentless curiosity about who we are and who we are becoming, never settling for surface-level understanding. Growth ignites a fire within that refuses to be extinguished by doubt, criticism, or fear of failure. It is a call to awaken the dormant potential within us, to rise above mediocrity and embrace excellence in all aspects of life. To embrace growth is to acknowledge that true transformation often demands sacrifice and discomfort, but promises profound fulfillment. It encourages us to surround ourselves with influences that inspire expansion and to release those that tether us to stagnation. Growth teaches the power of intention, reminding us that the quality of our journey is shaped by the choices we make each day. It requires patience to withstand the slow unfolding of change and gratitude to celebrate every milestone, no matter how humble. Growth is a process of continual shedding and renewal, a cyclical rebirth that keeps the soul vibrant and evolving. It challenges us to live authentically, shedding masks worn to please others and revealing our true essence. The journey is a testament to human potential, a powerful reminder that within every struggle lies the seed of greatness waiting to bloom. It invites us to hold space for both our triumphs and our failures, recognizing each as integral threads woven into the fabric of our growth. Growth is not a solitary endeavor, but a shared experience that connects us to the collective pulse of humanity striving to become more. It demands courage to break free from comfort zones and venture into realms of possibility previously unimagined. To grow is to awaken to a higher consciousness, recognizing the interconnectedness of all life and the role we play within this grand tapestry. It requires us to become students of life, humble and eager to learn from every circumstance and every person encountered. Growth teaches the art of resilience by showing us how to harness pain and transform it into powerful fuel for change. It calls us to lead with vulnerability, knowing that true strength is born from openness and authenticity. The journey of growth reshapes our identity, revealing layers of wisdom and grace hidden beneath trials and tribulations. It demands relentless self-discipline, the courage to face our weaknesses, and the resolve to cultivate our strengths. Growth is a relentless force that pushes us beyond what we thought possible, revealing that limits exist only in the mind. It ignites passion and purpose, inspiring us to create meaningful impact that transcends personal gain. It requires an unwavering commitment to self-love and acceptance as the foundation upon which all progress is built. The process of growth teaches us to be gentle with ourselves amid setbacks, embracing them as opportunities for refinement rather than reasons for despair. Growth invites us to explore the depths of our potential with fearless curiosity, knowing that the journey itself is the reward. It demands that we stay present in each moment, fully engaging with the lessons life offers without distraction or resistance. The journey is an invitation to become alchemists of our own destiny, transforming challenges into triumphs with intention and grace. Growth encourages a mindset of abundance, replacing scarcity thinking with the belief that there is always more to learn, give, and become. It compels us to break free from the chains of past conditioning and to craft new narratives rooted in possibility and hope. To grow is to commit daily to evolving beyond the familiar, knowing that comfort is the enemy of progress. It demands resilience not only in the face of external challenges, but also in the internal battle against fear and self-doubt. Growth is a declaration of faith in ourselves and the universe, trusting that every step forward aligns us with a greater purpose. It inspires us to cultivate gratitude for the journey itself, recognizing that growth is its own reward. The path calls us to nurture a warrior's spirit, tempered by a healer's heart, balancing strength with compassion. It teaches that setbacks are not failures, but recalibrations, necessary to refine our trajectory toward excellence. Growth transforms our pain into wisdom and our struggles into strength, crafting a legacy of perseverance. It demands the courage to embrace change relentlessly, knowing that stagnation is the slow death of the soul. Each moment of growth deepens our connection to ourselves and others, expanding empathy and understanding. The journey reveals that true power lies not in control, but in surrender to the flow of life's evolution. It challenges us to be architects of our own future, designing a life that reflects our highest values and deepest desires. Growth fuels creativity by opening new pathways in the mind and heart, encouraging innovation and fearless expression. It reminds us that the road may be long and arduous, but every step forward is a testament to our resilience. The journey of growth calls for humility, acknowledging that no matter how far we travel, there is always more to explore within. It is a celebration of the human spirit's infinite capacity to heal, adapt, and rise again. Growth encourages us to live with intention, making each choice a deliberate act of becoming. It reveals that authenticity is the cornerstone of lasting transformation and true fulfillment. The journey urges us to embrace discomfort as a sign of progress, a signal that we are stretching beyond old boundaries. Growth is a radical act of self-love, a commitment to honoring our evolving selves with respect and care. It invites us to listen deeply to our inner wisdom, trusting that the answers lie within. Each moment of growth enriches our story, adding depth and meaning to the legacy we leave behind. It demands that we become pioneers of change, willing to explore new terrains of possibility. Growth calls us to cultivate resilience not as a shield, but as a source of power that propels us forward. It teaches the beauty of patience, the art of trusting timing beyond our control. The journey invites us to open our hearts to the unknown, embracing mystery as a source of magic and transformation. Growth reshapes the way we see ourselves, unveiling potential hidden beneath layers of doubt, and it challenges us to rewrite old scripts that no longer serve, crafting new narratives of hope and empowerment. To grow is to step boldly into the arena of life, ready to face whatever comes with courage and grace. Growth nurtures a spirit of gratitude, recognizing that every challenge holds a lesson waiting to be uncovered. It calls us to stand tall in the face of adversity, knowing that each trial strengthens our resolve. The journey reveals that true transformation is a mosaic of small, consistent efforts that compound over time. Growth invites us to surrender attachment to outcomes and embrace the richness of the process itself. It ignites a fierce passion to live fully, courageously, and without apology. Growth teaches that vulnerability is not weakness, but a profound source of strength and connection. The journey compels us to become ever more present, anchoring ourselves in the power of. It calls us to cultivate compassion for ourselves and others as we navigate the twists and turns of transformation. Growth is a sacred covenant with the self, a promise to pursue a life of meaning, purpose, and continual evolution. It demands that we release old fears and embrace new possibilities with an open heart. Every moment invested in growth deepens our capacity to love, lead, and inspire. It invites us to become the architects of a future where potential is limitless and dreams are realized. Growth challenges us to redefine success, valuing inner progress over external validation. The journey encourages us to build resilience not just to survive, but to thrive in the face of change. Growth teaches us that the greatest victories often arise from the depths of our struggles. It calls us to embrace the unknown with curiosity, seeing every new horizon as an opportunity for renewal. Each step forward is a testament to the courage that lies within, waiting to be unleashed. Growth is the heartbeat of a life fully lived, the essence of our ever unfolding story.